Right, fun and games with my cheapo printer. So that's a CTC printer. They try to make you buy print time. So they give you these little USB sticks that have a counter on them. That means they'll only let you run for so many hours, and then you have to buy more filament from them and get a new one of these. It's, well, you get what you pay for, I guess. You know, it's a cheap printer, but you know, it's still £300. It's a lot of money for me. And then I couldn't update the firmware to sailfish as well, because they seem to block the normal the firmware update procedure. So what I've done is uploaded it manually with a in-circuit serial programmer through the header on the board, rather than through the USB, which we normally do it, and just with a command prompt, avrdude, and then uploading mighty sailfish 2 board here. I'll put details in the description, and the light's going on, so hopefully we've uploaded something. Hopefully it's the right firmware, but it's gone in anyway, and avrdude given, I said it's okay. Fuse is okay. Right, let's see if it works. But yeah, wow. There's no need. You know, why do they take open source thing like the plans for the mighty board, and open source firmware like sailfish, and then they change it just enough to try and con people into buying filament from them? Seems ridiculous. Kind of, I don't know. Wow. Way off. I don't know. Just off. Anyway, hopefully this works, and I got a printer that works, and I can upload new firmware and change settings and try and get it printing circles instead of the oval that it's doing at the moment. But right, ran over. Let's try it out. Okay. Let's go as a blank screen here. Maybe I uploaded the wrong firmware. Yes, fucking winner. Brilliant. So it wasn't I was using the wrong hex file. So it's the Mighty One Sailfish. I've installed 7.7 hex file on the Mega 1280 there with the ISP header, just with USB ASP. I had to install new drivers for 64-bit Windows. Which is cool. It's all available on Tinternet. Wow, brilliant. Excellent. Fucking knobs at CTC. Fucking hell. Anyway, I'm still reeling a bit. Spent some hours getting to know this printer and firmware and board versions and stuff. But yeah, hopefully let's print something. Try it out. Awesome. Bastards. The 3D printer has been protected by USB key. Only CTC filaments with a USB will be accepted. Check him out. Yeah. Not anymore. Awesome! So this is the first thing I've ever drawn and printed on the printer. Fuck. So it seems to stick really well if you put a little bit of, you dampen the build platform before you fuck, really well. Just before it starts to print. Ta-da! Excellent. Ooh. Still a bit oval. Tried loosening the belt tension on the y-axis, but I think I'm just going to need to get some new y-axis drive rods. I might as well just stick this in and cast some innards to it. Brilliant. Fuzz there. Awesome. So we got our moulds printed up. Just give it a wee sand down, cut off some of the worst of the stray fibres So, 17.2 grams. That was 2 shells with the 10% fill. So about 6 pence a gram for the PLA. So what's that? It's 20. So like £1.20 for the material. Doesn't seem too bad. Obviously it's completely the wrong shape. Still way oval. So I need to tweak something with the printer. Maybe do the XY calibration. Tweak that, or get new rods on the X-axis drive bar thingy. Who knows? We'll have to play with that. We can test the idea of we have to pour resin with microfibers into the mould and then just stick it in the sink and watch it all dissolve, the mould dissolve away, and you're left with a perfect endcap made from GRP. So fibers, I reckon 50 grams of resin. To start with, I'm going to give the mould a little brush of resin just to make sure that it's all properly coated and we're not going to left with bubbles right on the surface where the O-ring goes. And the fibre will just help make the casting stronger and help to minimise shrinkage and cracking. But I don't actually think this one's going to be usable. It's going to be way off shape. I'm going to stick some fibre in anyway to see how it flows and pours and stuff. And more viscous. Good. Guess you could use it. If you had a vibrating plate or something, you could put it on, it might help to jiggle out the bubbles. That's good. Once I figure out the why the printer's doing ovals, a bit annoying, but hey ho. I like it. That's fairly straightforward. Not too messy. You can see this stuff, apart from being a bit more expensive, is a bit softer than PLA or ABS. So on the bigger end caps it might not be usable, but that seems rigid enough. But you could, yeah, experiment. There's lots to experiment with. So just using standard filaments like ABS and dissolving it with acetone is possible. You know, once the resin's cured, it should survive dunking in acetone, or the PLA with caustic soda also works. And then there's high impact polystyrene filament as well. It's fairly inexpensive for moulding and then dissolving the mould with a different solvent. So that's pretty good. There's lots to experiment with. Yeah, and trying to get a system that's reliably easier than turning it on a lathe or something. Might have to figure out some way of doing through cap connections. Could even mould O-ring grooves in the actual end cap. So like, either if you want one at the top, you can have a cap mould that went over and made a little indent for an O-ring, or one on the bottom. If you put an O-ring on and then put a piece through with a flange, and it's a flange sealed against the O-ring that makes your through-hole connection to like either a brass or some other connector, even plastic. So I mean, standard plumbing fitting, you could put a hose on to take the cables and whatnot back through to the ROV. Because I'm not sure how tappable this stuff will be. Probably not that tappable, and then you got to try and seal it. And if you drill it, if you get imperfections where you place an O-ring, you like a bubble or something. Yeah, it might not work. So casting in O-ring grooves for a through-hole connector is an option as well, or even casting metal straight in. Let's try that. So this, some kind of plumbing fitting with a thread on it that you could just cast into the resin. That's a possibility. I imagine with the polyester resin does shrink a bit when it cures. So if it doesn't split around the connector, I imagine that's a pretty good connection seal. That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Right, so we finally got happy calibration cubes. Got one from replicatorG, sailfish, and one from makerware. Yay! So I finally figured out where they keep the XY steps per millimeter calibration stuff files for each of those programs and changed them. And it does. I think it's just this roller on the x-axis must be too big, so it's stepping like 5% over. You know, it's a huge amount. So when it's doing X movements, it's going 5% too far, based on the same number of steps. So I just reduced the number of steps. And we're good. So I was updating the machine, and that was fine. But then the slicer seemed to be overriding the machine settings. So there was lots of trial and mostly error and learning to be done. But yeah, end caps. So we got one. So I printed one in. This is a fail. Didn't have the over bevel to form the overhang. But this is PLA, polyvinyl alcohol, water soluble one, and this is made up an end cap in that with microfibers and polyester resin. Kind of overdone the catalyst a bit, and you can see it started to pop and crack. It's curing too fast and generating too much heat in the block. So less catalyst next time. I'm just testing an idea for casting in a through hole. This is the one that was one that printed oval, and that was oval, and now this is the first. Hopefully the first one that will be good. A nice circular shape. I'm going to try it in PLA this time, see how quickly we can get it to dissolve, maybe with a stronger sodium hydroxide solution. I ran out of PLA, peeled my blue tape off the build platform, so just got some of this micropore dressing, medical dressing. It's like a kind of fine fibrous tape, and roughed it up a bit, and got me some hairspray as well. It seems to be sticking okay. Printing PLA. Yeah. Good, looking forward to it. We'll see what we get. So I'm really quite pleased with these end caps. They don't take long to print at all. Like for the smaller ones, it was like 45 minutes to print one of those. And this is a mould big enough to do open roll size tube. So it's a 110mm OD, 100mm internal diameter tube. Yeah, it's really promising. Let's even print it off and then pour some resin in. Obviously this size, maybe you might need to add a few sheets of reinforcement to stop them flexing too much and cracking. Obviously the O-ring groove and stuff might need some refinement, or even increasing the angle so it prints cleaner. There's a few issues with layers missing that comes around the overhang. Yeah, it's mind-boggling really what you might be able to do with this stuff. Print up a mould and then cast it in something really solid. Dissolve the mould and then you're left with a really solid. Yeah, absolutely amazing.